Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another True Crime Time with Junebug. That's me. And I'm trying a different setting on the ring light. It's more yellow, so I don't know how I'll appear on camera. Because when I do like the white glow, what I usually use, I look sometimes like the final product isn't what I see on the camera. When I'm editing, I'm like, holy crap, I turned out really white. But that's not how it looks when I record. So we're gonna see what the yellowish light looks like. So if it looks too yellow, just let me know. And Rocket is here. Again, he was sleeping like a sweet little baby angel boy. And then I started like making my face look a bit more pretty, and he's like, oh, okay, what we doing? So, okay. Yeah. And to the one comment that said he looks like he has mange, he does not have mange. How rude. That's just his face. He's just weird looking, okay? He's rat-like. Anyway, today we are going to talk about a case that I cannot remember how I found. And it's a pretty short case, just to let you know. So that'll be kind of nice. You don't have to sit through as long of a video. But let's get started. So today we are talking about Miss X. And this takes place about March 17th or 18th of 1967. And I always say the age of the victim in case anything with children bothers you. She's not a children, but she was between 16 to 25 years old. So there's a gap there. And this happened it was like between Bear, Wilmington, and Glasgow in Delaware. It's just Delaware. It's not that big of a state. And this is unfortunately unsolved. But I did see that there's a possible breakthrough. It like might be solved. We'll get into it. Okay. Now, I do want to note there's not a ton of info on this case, unfortunately. And some of the info is sometimes debated. So I will try my best here to give like the facts. Now, since we don't know who Miss X was, unfortunately, I can't give a background like story about her, which is usually how I start my true crimes, but we don't know who she is. So we have to just dive right into March 18th of 1967 in Delaware. That is when Miss X was found on the side of Porter Road. And I don't know who found her. I tried finding like who it was, if it was just someone going for a jog, but I don't know who found her. It was said she was partially covered by a laundry bag, was only wearing blue underwear, and had a red ribbon tying her hair back. Like a homemade red ribbon is specified, not like a ribbon you could buy specifically for your hair. Fairly early on in the investigation, because obviously police were called when Miss X's body was found, they believed pretty quickly that she didn't necessarily die where she was found. It was most likely she was killed or died elsewhere, and then her body was dumped where they found her. They also found out right away when she was found that she was actually 3 months pregnant. Now, due to her being pregnant, the police thought she may have died from an illegal abortion because there was a substance found in her system that resembled an abortion-inducing chemical, and they found it in the lady region. I don't know if it was found in her blood at all, but I think it was primarily just found in her vaginal cavity. Now, after further examination, it was discovered she and the unborn baby actually died from sepsis. Now, with the source of the sepsis unknown, the manner in which she was found, aka the side of the road, no one claiming her, they put on her death certificate that it was a homicide. Now, I remember looking into the homicide, like, it doesn't necessarily mean like straight up murder. It could have been like an unintentional thing. I think it encompasses like manslaughter, murder, like anything that could have like killed a person, whether that was their intention or not. That was more for me because I'm like, okay, what exactly is the difference between a murder and a homicide? Well, that's the difference. I do want to note the illegal abortion or like a botched abortion isn't necessarily off the table for the cause of death. That could have led to sepsis itself. But they're thinking more along the lines that it wasn't like the sole reason she passed. It has not been disproven, however. Now let's dive into the investigation. Like I said, there's not a ton. So that was it. That's what they found, unfortunately. When no one immediately claimed her, they used the laundry bag found on her. Her feet were in the laundry bag. Her bottom of her legs, her feet were. They used that to try to find clues. Now, this laundry bag was traced to a company called American Laundry in Trenton, New Jersey, which was about an hour and a half drive from her body. So nothing insane. Now, when asked, because they obviously talked to this laundry company, the owners said, or relatives of the owners, I believe the owners had passed at this point, said they did remember a woman with Miss X's description, but they couldn't remember if she was an actual customer or if she just lived nearby and they remember seeing her face in the neighborhood. Or both. It could be both. It makes sense if it was both. And from what I could tell with the laundry bag, nothing came from this. I think it put New Jersey more on the map of where Miss X came from. Other than that, it didn't really lead anywhere, unfortunately. Again, that was the main part of the investigation that I saw, unfortunately. There could be a ton more info that's not available to the public yet. We do have to keep that in mind because it's technically an ongoing case and it's unsolved. And it's an older case. But I do want to know, I saw in few articles that they weren't necessarily trying to focus on the cause of Miss X's death or how she got there. Their main concern at the moment, and including back then, is who is Miss X, because that could help a lot in the terms of solving this case. And she deserves to have her name back, and for anyone who was looking for her, they deserve to know. Nowadays, also, due to how much older this case is, the person who's responsible is most likely in the senior age group and also very likely chance that they are dead at this point. So their main focus again is just, who is she? Now, due to their method of sorry, my voice cracked. Now, due to their method of trying primarily to just find out who Miss X was, many known missing women were looked into. 50 were disproven in the very initial search. 50 were disproven. Obviously, there's way more than 50 people missing, unfortunately, but I feel that's quite a chunk for a very early investigation. And then with really nothing else on her or near her to help identify her, minus, of course, the laundry bag, which didn't lead to a ton of information, her case is still very unsolved. Kind of cold. Now, it's never actually been closed, though, from what I could tell. And if it was closed, it has been reopened. Because in 2011, yes, we're jumping way ahead here, a vial of Miss X's blood, and I believe they used some DNA from her hair tie, because I think they randomly found a vial of her blood in evidence in 2011, and they were well, let's test it. So they did, and she was found to be linked to people in Virginia and North Carolina. So when they asked these people who matched with her about Miss X, they didn't seem to really know about her or hadn't heard of her. So this led to, unfortunately, a dead end. I did see speculation on the internet, which again, 100% just speculation. There is the theory they could have just lied and said they didn't know her if they knew great grandpa Benny was the one who got rid of her or something. But again, there's nothing to prove that. But it is true, humans can lie. They could have lied. But I don't necessarily think it's the case. Then in 2013, NCMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they did one of their famous reconstructions of her face, which, if I haven't shown it here in the video yet, here it is in all its glory. Now, for her description, because they actually do have a fairly good description of her, Miss X was 5'2", between 110 and 115 pounds. She had a bra size of 34 double D, which that's quite chesty for a little gal. But they knew her bra size. She had dark curly hair, brown eyes. She was theorized to be of Greek, Italian, or Jewish descent. She had a vaccination scar on her left upper thigh. She had blood type O, which again doesn't pertain to her appearance, but they do know her blood type. She had pierced ears, but she was not wearing earrings at the time, and it looks like she actually hadn't worn earrings in a while. She had very well cared for teeth. There was actually evidence of tooth repair, so she was at least seeing the dentist once a year, they theorized. And she was most likely between the ages of 16 to 25. They originally guessed her to be between 18 and 21, but they ended up expanding it. And again, she was also 3 months pregnant at the time. Now, the latest info on the case actually came January 25th of 2023. Now, when her Doe Network page, because there's a whole John Doe, Jane Doe network, or baby does, unfortunately, she was actually marked as identified. But it was unfortunately leaked on I think it was the Twitter page, that she was possibly Patrona or Petra Patmios. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And she is a 21-year-old woman of Greek descent from New Jersey. So it would track with the age gap, like the age bracket. It would track with possibly being of Greek descent, and it tracks with the New Jersey laundry bag. However, none of this has been officially confirmed by Delaware police. Many people on the internet suspect that it is her. I even saw that some people were thinking the Delaware police are kind of being petty about it, that they're annoyed that they weren't the ones who necessarily solved it, because there was DNA found when someone did. One of the family members submitted DNA for a genealogy test, I believe it was, and there was matches to Miss X. Again, I don't know if this is 100% true. It has not been confirmed, and it still has not been confirmed pushing 2 years later. So if the Delaware police could get on that, because I feel like that family has a right to know if it's legit. Unless they do know, but then they just haven't confirmed it to the public, the police. I don't quite know the logistics. I hope the family would be the first to know before the general public, though. But yeah, that is really all there is about Miss X. It is still unsolved. I'm hoping that it is this woman, that it does get solved soon, that the Delaware police would, or New Jersey police, I'm not quite sure who would handle it. I think it's the Delaware police, because that's where she was found. I hope they confirm this or disprove it. I just do something. I did not create this contact list looking nice and beautiful and perfect. I got it from a Medium article that came out in 2022. So hopefully the numbers are still up to date. But if you happen to know anything, or you think this could be a long lost relative, or if you have information about the identification of Miss X, here are the numbers to give information to. Again, I don't really have a huge following base, but I gotta try. You never know. Now, for Miss X, she is still known as Miss X, although a lot of places have been updated to show her as Patrona. But to me, until it's officially confirmed, I believe she is still known as Miss X. She is buried in Bolden Boulevard Potters Field Cemetery in Delaware. But that is it for Miss X, unfortunately. I dug for a while. I was going to page 5 for Google searches. Most people don't go past 2. That's it. I will see you probably soon. I'm not entirely certain, with a new true crime. It'll probably be a bit more in-depth than this one, but we'll see. I forgot what's next on my list. And thanks for tuning in. Let me know if the lighting is too yellow, because what I see is not what translates to the final product. And have a good day. Bye.